He was arrested at the age of 17. He spent 14 years in prison, 10 years on death row. Segun Olowookere, congratulations to the young man. Narrow escape is what I call it. This guy was arrested as a minor, and our judicial system kept him in prison for stealing, for allegedly stealing fowl or chicken and egg. Chicken and egg. Chicken and egg. While we have a lot of big men, so-called celebrities, non-entities, politicians, nothing British, walking about freely, stealing billions. 17-year-old was sent to 14 years imprisonment. No, he was kept in prison for 14 years. First 4 years, he was on trial, and the last 4 years, from the fourth year, he was convicted, and he spent 10 years on death row. Only the mercy of God gave him another chance. Narrow escape, because he was already condemned to death. The Bible will say, "Eni Ọlọ́run pa," that's he who God did not kill, or the gods did not kill. There are many Seguns in the society, in the prisons. There are still many Seguns now that have not even yet gone to prison, but they don't even know what will take them to prison. Maybe someone will rope them in on a very small minor offense, a misdemeanor or whatever, and it will now end up in a terrible way. I pray it doesn't happen to anybody. We that are outside right now, walking freely, walking, having our liberty, we have not been there. But hearing the story, the accounts of those people who have been there, nobody wants to go there. Even though they will be serving free meal. Who wants to eat free meal in custody, in incarceration, behind lock and keys, behind bars? And which free meal? It's crazy to imagine that for mere charges of stealing egg and fowl or chicken, a whole human being was sent to prison. Not just that. Recently, I heard the case of a man that stole a goat. I don't even know how many years. Did they say 10 years? I don't want to exaggerate. I did not go through the details. Nigeria. This is where the so-called leaders of the people, they are looting the country dry. They are busy stealing, amassing, and when they leave power, they will feign sickness, they will faint, they will put up all manner of drama. Recently, we heard the EFCC treating cases of past government functionaries, and those people are still grandstanding, they are flexing. And that has been the case, sorry case of Nigeria. And we have a judicial system, and that's why I'm actually, doing this video. It's not about Segun, who is now free only. I rejoice with him. It's about the rest of us. That our judicial system will carry justice, will miscarry justice instead of carrying justice or dispensing justice. Is that not a high, a very, what we call it now, example? Is there high example? It's just a high demonstration of miscarriage of justice. That guy is now 31 years old. Congratulations again, Segun. If you ever come come across this video. Kirikiri, 10 years. You know one thing about Kirikiri? I lived in Lagos before I moved to the US here. When you hear the word Kirikiri in Lagos, in fact, when some of us were growing up in some other parts of the place, when we hear Kirikiri, we never knew that Kirikiri was a town, because the major association with Kirikiri, what people associate is prison, but it's a community. The mere mention of Kirikiri will throw jitters in people's make them to shiver down their spines. This guy narrated his harrowing experience behind bars. Himself and his co-suspects, the co-accused, Sunday Morakinyo, they were arrested in Oyon, Odotin, local government of Osun State. For what? Armed robbery. They said they found a wooden gun on them, and that they stole eggs and hen. The story is neither here nor there. It looks like they were roped in, only to even hear that Segun's uncle, his own biological uncle, I don't know whether it's a junior one or the senior one to his father, was actually the one that accused them of this. And they were sentenced to death by a court, a state high court in the Kino division on December 17, 2014. A justice, or what do we have? We have justice in the Supreme Court. We have high court judge. A judge of high court, a high court judge sentenced human beings. Even by the time they were convicting them, sentencing them to 10 years, they would have been like 21. Sheikh would have been like 21 by then, but he was arrested when he was 17. So whatever way you are going to look at that case, you have to look at the case by the age of that individual when he was arrested. And someone was sentenced to death for stealing hen and eggs. Hen and eggs. Hen, fowl, chicken, kukuruku, and egg. Wow, what a country. In a country where people are stealing billions, they are stealing the country dry, flaunting their loot in our faces. And even the masses will be praising them, the gullible ones will be praising them to high heavens. Here these public servants are proving to the rest of us as if they are above the law. It makes it appear to me that we have two sets of laws in operation in Nigeria. That there is one law for the rich and another one for the poor. Other than that, how do you explain this miscarriage of justice? Beyond that, it's not miscarriage that added 1 year of prison to somebody, or 6 months, or 3 months. We will call that a minor offense. If I don't know what the law book says, what the law says in it says in the books. I don't think someone can go to more than a year in jail, even if they were convicted of stealing the fowl and the egg. At this juncture, let me thank and praise the effort of actress Biola Adebayo. Biola, kudos to you. Thumbs up. You did a great job by giving your platform to the parents of Morakinyo. You know, there's mystery. This word is mysterious because these parents have been, they have been working hard, praying, going about, hoping that this young man will be released. But by the stroke of fate, they went on Biola's program and the story gained traction. And they were pleading passionately for mercy over the plight of their son. And that was what an aide to the governor of Osun State reacted to. And consequently, the governor granted him pardon. Governor Adeleke, you did this one well. They are dancing governor. Congratulations to you. But, governor, it's not only Olowookere Segun that is in this kind of situation. There are a lot of them. And I hope that you will activate the process of you will use everything within your office to make sure that if there are other people that are in this kind of situation, they equally get the same pardon from you. And all the governors in Nigeria, all the governors, because it's the governors that have the power to pardon people. I know in Lagos State there's a reform that makes the judiciary to go to the courts. They review people's cases, and sometimes they recommend them for release. And I hope that is going on, because how this guy stayed in prison for 14 years, nobody died at the crime scene, no gun was shot. Even the law, there's a legal balance that says they should temper justice with mercy. That's the judiciary. And why did this happen? Because of the police attitude in Nigeria, where police will torture the suspect to confess what they did and the one they did not do. Instead of doing thorough investigation, the police will even make people to say what they did not do so that they can have something to present in the court to convict someone. So my reason for doing this video is to call into question our policing system and our judicial system. What Denifaro TV was saying recently, this is part of what he was saying about the justice system in Nigeria. And the justice system we have to take along the police as a unit with the justice system, because they are the law enforcement. They are the ones that obtain confessions under duress. They are the ones that enter the crime or whatever it is into the crime sheet or the charge sheet. And we know that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes they don't do thorough investigation. Look at EFCC. They keep losing cases. They have some small wins. They will tell you they had 200 cases. Which of the high-profile cases have they prosecuted to a logical conclusion? Imagine. They will not do investigation. Rather, it is harassment. It is torturing people, putting them into serious pain under duress. And the father of this boy said, they said he should come and bail him with an amount of money. He couldn't get that money complete. He couldn't complete that money. He took what he had to them, and that money was short. And that police officer just went ahead and did this jamba, this evil to this guy. And they sentenced the guy. In fact, he was on trial for 4 years after his arrest, before he was now convicted in the 4th year, and he stayed additional 10 years in prison for what? The law is very clear about the procedure for arresting and detaining and prosecuting minors in Nigeria. We still have a law that recognizes minor. In the event that there's an allegation of criminal offense against a minor, the way the law will treat them, both in Nigeria and everywhere in the world, is different than for somebody who is of age. Just because he was accused of being in possession of a gun. Which kind of judge is that? Did he even go to law school? Is he not a father? He holds the yam, he holds the knife. The judge has the final say. You see, judge, that's why they say, my lord, they have the power of life and death. Did he have to go to that extent? So now that Segun has been pardoned, what is the compensation? Because he was unjustly incarcerated and he could have just been killed like that. There's more work to be done in cleaning up our judicial system, in reforming the police system. You will hear police reforms. Where is the reform? What impact has that reform had on the entire system? Do you know that people got angry because of this kind of during NSAS, because of this kind of situation Segun found? So there are a lot of people that have been wasted. They just kill them, waste them. Do you see that NSAS was very spontaneous? Because a lot of people could relate with police brutality. Recently, some MFM pastors came out last year and they were talking about this kind of things, how the police set them up, how they you know, their pastor, their leader. I don't usually want to get into some of those businesses, you know, but how he used the police system against them and got them behind bars. But it's also a reasonable judge. You know, when I was very, you know, in my nursery school, private school, I read a book called The Incorruptible Judge. I don't know if that book is still in existence. Agbalawa Mary. There's an incorruptible judge who said, no, these guys, they should go home. They don't have any case to answer. When we were younger, in the 70s, in the 80s, you will hear that is, they pack them, they roger them. Roger, human beings. There's, I mean, police is part of the system. They are brothers, they are sisters, they are uncles, they are children, they are sons. And, you know, they talk about man's inhumanity to man. Imagine a system where we go to the same market, we send our children to the same school, and these police people that we are talking about, we have a lot in common with them. They are not like from another planet. They are not from space. They are They are part and parcel of the bigger system. Police are human beings. During NSAS, police was demystified. I'm not finding this funny. I'm not happy about it. But some police people had to take off their uniform and they ran. In Yoruba, they said they ran kaba. They ran for their dear lives. Not only police, nobody in uniform wanted to be identified at that time because, you see, sometimes it's when things have not conflagrated that people think that they can just lay back and just treat other people anyhow. NSAS, the fire kindled, and everybody was no longer at ease. Even the government was jittery because they knew what happened in the Arab Spring. They knew how the Arab Spring, you know, the same pattern was repeating itself all over the Arab nations. Change of government. And we all know all the things that went on and went under, you know, all the cover-ups of the NSAS. NSAS did not start in one day. Thank God for the age of social media. Because social media has helped some people to be able to capture the moment. Maybe they just go on Facebook Live or they just have a recording, or some people have digital cameras, they have pen cameras, they have some body cameras that help them to be able to bring some things to public, you know, to the public space and to protect themselves against the brutality of police and sometimes obtaining. Kudos to police, because it's about the institution in Nigeria that actually sanctions their officers publicly when they are caught in wrongdoing, when they are caught. One lawyer friend of mine said something sometimes ago. He said, whosoever is caught, 100 people can do something and go away with it, get away with it, but whosoever is caught. So police, whenever the public comes out with evidence of, you know, wrongdoing, police always take action. At least over and over again, they have demonstrated that. But it's better to have a system where your people will not. It's only because those ones were caught, they were found out, they came to the light. What about for every single case that comes to the light? There are hundreds that even go unreported. So the purpose of this video is for us to, as a society, reconscientize ourselves. Because now this guy has been pardoned. Is there any compensation for him? What is the compensation for wasting 14 years of his life? Yeah, he should be thankful. In an interview with some major news channels, they asked the boy, he's now a young man, that what is there? Are you looking forward to compensation? The boy said no, he doesn't have any. He didn't say no, he doesn't want compensation. He only said that he's just even happy to be free. Because if you know what it means for somebody to be locked in behind bars for all those years, you know, when you want to, for some people want to punish their children, they will tell the children, they'll say go to your room. The fact that the child cannot even come out is like suffocation to the child. 14 years of someone's life. Do you know that when there's one thing I used to measure the power of a minute, of 60 seconds. Usually when someone dies or, people die, they'll say, oh, 1 minute silence. Do you observe how long it takes for that 1 minute to complete? It will seem like eternity to eternity. Sometimes even that 1 minute, nobody watches the stopwatch for that. Sometimes the 1 minute will seem like, like 10 minutes. Now imagine, not one hour, not 1 day, not 1 month, not 1 year, 14 years of someone's life with no hope of coming out because he was already convicted. He was already condemned to death. Imagine. This is what we do to ourselves. Profit over people. The judicial system and the police, they don't sell any commodity. They don't have any shop in Alaba. They don't have any shop in Aba. They don't have any shop in Kano market. Their business is human beings and extortion, exploitation. Because Segun's dad he said that they asked him to bring an amount of money and he brought parts, not because he wanted to bring parts, that was all he could get. And he brought it to them and he said, okay, you better go and complete it. And because he couldn't complete it, not because he didn't want to, he wants his son to be free, but he couldn't afford to. And that cost his son 14 years in prison. In fact, it cost him a death sentence. Why would somebody want to profit over another person's freedom? See, there's something I think about when they say, okay, civil servants are poorly paid, police are poorly paid. It is not a license for oppression. I know that the government, and that's where the government comes in here, the government are setting some of us against the rest of us. How? People in uniform are just like other civil servants, and they are not paid enough. They are not well paid. They are only earning peanuts. How do you expect them to live? How do you expect them to survive? For many years ago, you see police, they have been complaining since many years ago. They've been complaining of police barracks. They don't have accommodation. Sometimes they send them out to different states. There's no welfare for them. Nobody is looking after them. And you now think these people will act normally in society. You are unleashing them against the rest of us. We are helpless. Why? Because they have the gun. Even for simple cases of bribe. Because for most public transporters, their vehicles might not have the complete papers or one thing or the other on the vehicle. Maybe the lights, maybe the trafficator or something might be bad, might have been broken. And, instead of police to now charge them and get all of them, to take all their vehicles to the station, it became a culture that those drivers will just give a tip to the police. They will give a tip on the road and they will just be waved and it's goodbye. So to the extent that the transporters no longer fix their vehicles again. You will see rickety vehicles, but people have to commute. They have to move from one point to another. And when they flag the private, there's an irony. Most private vehicle owners, they have their papers complete, the documents of the car. Anyway, it's only in Nigeria we see people going about with a lot of documents. In fact, some people don't even know the documents they are carrying. And when police take from you, some of them are novices. They don't even know what some of those documents are. They might identify insurance and proof of ownership or all those things. But when the campaign started that people should not be giving certain documents to them, that's when you will know that some of them don't know, because you have to tell them. But even though people like Frank, I don't want to mention names now, when the PPRO and everything, they will come out and say, don't give police bribe, they should not be asking for these papers from you. Who argues with a man with a gun? Lariwaji Adepoju of blessed memory, he is an orator, he's a poet. He says something. Who will argue with a man with a gun? Who is going to have a voice in the presence of a warrior, of a soldier. So these people have guns, and if any little thing they start flexing, I will shoot you and nothing will happen. I'll shoot you now and nothing will happen. The rest of us are not cowards. Here in America, people bear guns. You see some of the nonsense that our law enforcement do in Nigeria. They can only do it in Nigeria. There's the debates from time to time. The thing will just come. Maybe it's every 10 years. Should we license guns for people to private carry gun in Nigeria or what? You think people will have guns and armed robber will be going to say your money or your life? The armed robber is already, they will blow his head off before you even get access to the door. All this crime you see in society, you see, for every policy, there is the good and the bad of it. The reason why America is America today is that there's nobody that can just come from nowhere and say, fellow Nigerians. Fellow Nigerians where? Fellow... Because it is a country with, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm already violating the community rules. You can't point a firearm at somebody just on the road for what? Because you are just checking their vehicle. So they intimidate the rest of us. They intimidate. It's intimidation. When you look at some of the police, anyway, don't let me get personal with them. You think if it is man to man, if not for gun, some police will get away with some things they are doing? No way. But the system unleashes them on us. The same thing police do on the road, because that's their own office. That is their own jurisdiction. That's what civil servants do in their offices. So there's no holier than thou. Police is not the worst. I do hear that police is the most corrupt. It's because they are in the public glare. They are in the public glare. I can't defend them, but they are in the public glare. What about the things that you do in your own offices or other people do in their own offices? But the trade, what the police and the judiciary trades in is people's lives. Because they can, the judiciary, the justices, you see the lawyers calling them my lord, my lord, my lord. They have the power of life, and then when they sit in judgments, they are conferred with the authority to decide the case as they so please. And Segun went in like that. How many Segun? A tale of Seguns. We are all Seguns because we are citizens. It could be anybody. This is Segun's story. But there are a lot of stories as well of wrong investigation, miscarriage of justice. As a society, we just need to have human empathy. And I know the system is upside down, but in our own little corner, at least, let's give the work that we do a human face. Segun is now 31 years. He was arrested when he was 17. Morakiyo, Sunday, is co-accused. I hope the government of Osun will do something about him as well. And for the rest of us, this is a clarion call for us to continue to clamor for a better society where this kind of things will be a thing of the past, because it could be anybody. Thank you for watching so far. We hope for a better society. The YouTube analytics is showing on my back end that only a few of our watchers are subscribing to this channel. Only 25% of people watching us are subscribing so far. I want to appeal to you to please click the like button. And as you are hearing me right now, click that subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel and follow us on our other channels on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, now known as X. And let the conversation continue. What do you think of this matter? Please put your comments in the comment section, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.